Thank you for the listening to the Red Chat podcast. Welcome to the Seavers.
Today we are here and we're going to talk about a special week that is the Mental Health Illness Awareness, or aka Green Ribbon Week. I think in our old school we always had to know about Green Ribbon Week, or the mental health awareness. And I think it was me and Afton who did film together, and we had to make videos that would probably, like, what was it for, like, the program, or like the winning thing, Afton?
Directing change?
Yes, directing change. It was you had to do your own creative way of showing, like, like anything with a mental health illness that people have, and then you have to make a video about it to show, like, they're not alone, and you can, you know, make them feel more comfortable with it and not make them feel isolated. And it's a tough subject about it too, because
Mhm.
other people who have it are struggling, and we don't know it, and we can't see what they're seeing, and we don't know what they're dealing with it, because we're not in their body and mind. So it's kind of hard for others with it as well.
I remember when we were at our old school, I remember a lot of the films were, like, surrounding depression, and I remember well, that was before I got diagnosed, but I remember, like, all the films really made it seem like they were for the mental health matters category, and all the films submitted that I saw really made it seem like, it's like an instant fix, like, you get help and it's completely fixed.
Hmm.
So, I was like, I feel like this year I wanna do something that's positive, but it doesn't have, like, that, like, unrealistic, like, expectations for therapy. Like, it's not gonna work immediately, like, it takes a long time, but it does help. And so, me and Lucy entered a film, and we got 2nd place of our
Yeah.
county. I'm gonna be investing all of our winnings into the Rat Chat podcast. We're gonna buy real estate.
You're gonna buy a big chunk of land, and we're gonna have, like, a commune there, and no one's allowed to leave. No, but I really loved your guys' film. I like
Oh,
that you
really?
chose the subject of OCD, which I think, like you said before, the film's really centered around depression. And it's not that depression isn't a struggle. I mean, a lot of us have depression, of course it is, but, like, mental like health issues like OCD are severely underrepresented, and then also, like, misrepresented when they are represented. So I think it's important to have that perspective from someone who's, like, affected by something like that and can bring awareness about it that isn't stereotyping it,
Yeah.
and but also not glorifying it either. So I think you guys did a really good job.
Aw, thank you.
And the topic is something very, like, serious, because a lot, no, not a lot, but some people with OCD, it's not, oh, they can get over it. It's not good, because they have unwanted thoughts that they don't want to repeat over and over again. And
Mhm.
I had to do I had to do, like, a paper on OCD, and I had to do many more papers because I'm in AP psychology, and so we had to learn about this. So, like, the struggle of OCD, it's very severe and not like something to joke around. You can't just say, "Oh my god, my OCD is, like, happening," and blah blah blah. Like, no, you can't say that, because people who have it really struggle about it, and they will get a little tiny, like, tick, and they can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Growing up with it, I always, like it was probably, like, oh my god, once a day in elementary school, I heard someone use it in that way, like, "Oh, I am so OCD, like, everything has to be perfect." And, like, when I was really struggling with it, it was super, like it hurt to hear that.
I just think, like, when people say it randomly, like, "Oh, okay, cool," that's like, it's a joke for you, but, like, if you say it all the time without getting diagnosed, it's like, okay, you need to stop, because you don't know what people are actually going through with OCD.
Mhm.
And I hate it when people are like, "Oh, I'm so depressed and everything, and, my, like, stress anxiety is rising up, and I don't know what to do. I'm just so depressed." It's like, well, first of all, do you even know if you got diagnosed?
Mhm.
Do you even know what it's, like, really about? You can't just be sad and that's it. Like, when you have, like, depression diagnosed, it goes a hard subject for people, I'm just saying right now, because with depression, you have unwanted thoughts as well.
Yeah, I think like it depends on the context because I think a lot of people are like way more vocal about having mental health problems and like how stress contributes to it. But I do think like yes, words like OCD and depressed and like anxious it's different because anxious in general is a feeling anyone can be anxious, but then it's like anxiety, it's like chronic anxiety itself is a whole different thing. So I think those words I think like oh I'm having like if for example if you couldn't go to like a concert that you wanted to go to and you're like oh I'm so depressed that I couldn't go to this concert, it's like yeah I mean you're bummed out about it
Yeah.
but it's not the biggest deal. And then I
Yeah.
guess with anxiety the same is applicable, but again I think anxiety is a feeling that pretty much everyone experiences, but it's like the context in which it is used, whereas like OCD is in a different boat because it's like so severely like misrepresented in like media and in general that like people just don't understand like why saying something like that is like hurtful.
When I was little, I didn't know a lot about it, even though I have it. I didn't know a lot about it. And then hearing all of the like misconceptions, I believed those. And it made me like think that I didn't even have it. Because I was like, oh, I'm not like that. I'm like this. But it was like the complete opposite way around.
It just, it goes beyond. And then I hate it when people make fun of it too, because it just triggers, like for me, I have nothing diagnosed, so I don't want to say I have anything. But when I hear other people's stories, it makes me feel so sad that I don't want to say I know how they feel, but I know what pain they're going through of what they experience and what they're dealing with every day. If someone's going through like a mental illness, I will always be there. I'll be there like if they need help and everything. Like it's serious because, with mental illness, it's not something to joke about and it's not something you can hide it. If you have something that is going to affect you a lot, you can always speak up about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's serious. And I don't know. I feel like, again, from my psychology class, I learned so much about it. It just makes me feel more, I don't know, like it made me feel more like sad. Cause when I was, I think 12 or 13, I was having like I think body dysmorphia, but it wasn't like severious. I was just saying like I'm just too fat. I'm just too fat. I look ugly. I look stupid. I look nothing good. I'm not gonna be really cool. No one's gonna like me. I look like a troll. Like I had those thoughts, but then again, I can't just say I'm diagnosed with it. It's just stuff that happens in your mind, but it can go away as well.
Yeah. And you don't have to be diagnosed to like know that you have certain experiences, which is I think a big misconception. Like I didn't have to be like diagnosed to know that I had anxiety. And not that I am diagnosed, like yeah, it helps because then I can, get treatment for it. But like there are certain things you can go through at certain times and the traits or the symptoms that you're dealing with can all align with certain things and you just might not be able to get diagnosed or you just for whatever reason aren't diagnosed, but that doesn't take from the fact that you were probably experiencing something pretty serious and a diagnosis doesn't necessarily change how severe it is.
Again, it's a hard subject to talk about. I keep repeating about it, but it really is. You can't just make fun of like something that someone has because it will affect them and it will change what their thinking is because you don't want that person to think of something else.
Yeah.
I think like what you were saying, like, oh, I don't need to be diagnosed with anxiety. I can tell myself like I have like anxiety as well because I think I remember an incident, I just can't think of it right now because it was like something to do with I lost something that was important to me and I started having anxiety because I needed it for school and I couldn't find it everywhere. So I trashed my whole room just to find this one item. Like books were everywhere, paper, trash everywhere. And I found it and I felt calm. But then I had another anxiety because I had to clean my room because it was all a mess. It's hard to talk about it because I hate saying it.
Well, anxiety is like stress in a sense. It's almost constant. Like it's stress or like it's beyond because it's not just nervousness. It's the stress and the nervousness and then possibly like compulsive thoughts. The pauses are so like awkward. I don't really know how to like fill in the silence because it's like
I know, I don't know
it's
either.
an awkward like subject. Like it's an awkward
Yeah.
like thing to talk about, which is
It's
fine.
it's not awkward. It's just tough to talk about it because you don't want to say anything wrong
Yeah.
and you don't
Yeah.
want to say anything bad, you know?
Because everyone doesn't have the same experience. So, like,
Yeah.
And you can't just say, "Oh, that's not what happened to them. That's fake." And you know, you can't show proof if someone's faking it or not. If they have it, they probably do.
I will say that like of course like there are people out there who like post things like that for attention, but what mentally well person is posting about things like that for attention?
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
even if it is solely for the purpose of attention, they are seeking that attention for some reason. It could be that you it could even be like, "Oh, I'm pretending to have certain mental illnesses to get attention," and that is still a mental health issue in and of itself.
Yeah, because like it could go around with, I think with social anxiety or
Mhm.
social like isolation, I think a lot of people would say that they don't have those symptoms, but they post it on their or like social media and stuff just to get that attention so they
Yeah.
feel more, you know,
They get that validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Validation, that's a good word.
and that's a really good word because you don't know what's going on with their life with a traumatic event that happened to them, or you don't know what's going on with their life when you know when something bad happened.
I always notice this. It's so weird, but like, I've always seen like merch of like mental illnesses and mental disorders, and it's always like rubbed me the wrong way. But like,
Yes.
even still now, I still see stuff like that. Like, I'll go to like Target and I'll see shirts with like OCD, and then under it it'll be like obsessive Christmas disorder. And then
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
even like there's social anxiety like sweatshirts and stuff like that. I don't know, it's so weird.
I think it pisses me off when they have those type of shirts. I don't know, like a shirt that says like against OCD and it's all like rainbow and stuff. I'm just like, I don't see anyone would wear that. And if someone is, I'm just gonna like question them, like, oh, like, are you really against like OCD? And they'll be like, yeah, but you know,
Like it's an organization.
yeah, what if it's an organization? And it's like, I don't know. I think like the merch, and they're just saying like, like what you said, like, oh, like obsessive Christmas disorder. I feel like that's just a joke.
Mhm. It's
Like
at least they can make it funny. Like try a little harder and I'll be on board. But I mean,
you
you
can't just
know.
say Christmas. Like, what if someone likes Halloween? Obsessive Halloween disorder. I know. I feel
Mhm.
like into like the clothing line type of subject, I feel like it's all weird in my
Mhm.
opinion, and all like the clothing line type of stuff. It just I feel like to me it's like a kind of like a joke, but at the same time I don't know how others take it as, Cuz for me, I wouldn't take it for like as a joke. I think I would take it like kind of a little bit serious cuz some cases for others, I don't think it's like a joke to talk about it, but some others don't care and they just, move it on.
I see a lot of the people that manufacture the clothing, like if it's a small brand who makes like social anxiety sweatshirts, they usually say that they suffer from it and that's kind of their way of releasing all that stress out,
Mhm.
which is I can totally understand like venting that way, like through art.
Mhm.
But if you're releasing it onto like a piece of streetwear that people are gonna wear, other people that see that aren't gonna have the context. They're
Yeah.
just gonna see like a mental disorder on a shirt.
And that's so weird. Like, why would you buy that if you don't
I don't
have it? That's
know.
like some Forever 21 type of like craze.
I shopped at Forever 21.
I'm so sorry, Corbin.
What'd you buy?
I bought that green and white checkered flannel and I posted on my Instagram.
Oh, but like you know what I'm talking about though, like the t-shirts where it has like the unnecessary like
Like
Oh,
the
messages.
clearance rack.
the I just woke up like this.
Yeah, 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 like
Yeah.
that one. Or like I'm craving pizza. Like that's so weird. Why would you have a shirt like that?
Yeah,
I don't
But
okay.
know.
I see
that's
what
what
you
I
mean.
mean.
Like not to like drag down my favorite area, but like Walmart, they would have like those type of shirts of like I'm busy gaming.
I love those shirts. What do you mean? I have one of those.
Or like I'm going bananas and it shows like the minions on it. Like I love those.
You're like telling me my dream wardrobe.
I know. Oh my god! Or like the Sesame Street shirts where it says like the gains all here.
How do you know all these? Oh my
The
I
god.
gang's
know.
all here. I don't feel like anyone with a mental illness wants to wear a T-shirt displaying their mental illness.
Yeah.
And like okay, it's like y'all were saying, like with small businesses, some businesses do it where like they'll make a shirt with it and like the proceeds go towards like charities, like a certain
Mhm.
percentage.
Mhm.
And so I like it when they do that, because like, or like you could wear the T-shirt if it's like say you're going to like a rally or something. Like there's very few situations that like actually call for those T-shirts.
Mhm.
Because like if it was just wording saying like I'm against OCD or something like a joke, like like what Afton said, like oh obsessive Christmas disorder, I think that's just like not wrong, like not right.
I feel like in those situations, maybe instead of wearing like a shirt like that, I think it'd be best to like buy a shirt from like a organization or a fundraiser with the
Yeah.
logo on it, like a mental health awareness fundraiser or
Mhm.
organization, and have a t-shirt with the logo on it instead of whatever else you might be considered buying.
Yeah.
Like the little green ribbons they used to hand out at our
Yeah.
old school.
They handed out some, I think the first day of no, not the first day. The May 2nd. They started handing those out and I wasn't there May 2nd, so I kind of felt bad and I almost cried because, every single time I get a green ribbon, I put it on my backpack, but I take it off when Green Ribbon Week is gone. So
Mhm.
I didn't have one this year. I might go over my old shoebox just to like have it on my backpack, but I remember this one time this one person stole it and then smashed it on the floor
Oh
and
my god.
I don't want to like say it out like, I don't want to expose them because it's, whatever. Like don't let's not cancel this person, but it pissed me off because they were just saying people are so fake with theirs. They're just getting attention and everything else. We don't think we should support them because, mental illnesses are probably fake. I'm like,
That is a cancelable offense.
I think it was like an 8th grader, and I was just like, "You're done." He was wearing like I think like a oh my god, I gotta think of it. I gotta go in my yearbook. Actually, hold on.
Those yearbooks were so expensive and like
Too expensive.
I would prefer that school's yearbook than the school I'm currently at because I was looking at those and I was like, ooh, that's
is it bad?
ugly. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get one because it's like my last year,
Mhm.
but like I would like prefer a oh shit. I mean
Yeah.
old school yearbook.
You said blank. Oh shit. I mean,
They
I
still have the posters up for our old school downtown and it's so funny and some of the
It's so
buildings.
funny.
I don't get it. Like take it down right now.
Maybe we can rent those buildings for the podcast.
I would
We can
love
take the
that so
posters.
With
much.
your movie money.
Yeah. Which building would you want?
Let's take the bank.
Oh yeah.
The bank, ooh,
The
the
bank.
opera house. I
Mhm.
honestly loved that building. It was
Me
literally
too.
like 3 classrooms, and it was so quiet in there always.
That was lovely.
It was connected to like I don't know what it was connected to, but if you took like one door, it took you to like the fanciest looking lobby with like this beautiful elevator, and I don't know what that building was.
It was the bank. It was the Bank of
Really?
America. Yes.
Yeah.
One time this kid, I remember his name, but I'm not gonna name drop. And he literally but he literally threw a peanut butter sandwich down the stairs when you open the door and like go into the lobby. He saw someone walk by and he took a peanut butter sandwich and threw it down the stairs right after them.
Wait,
The nice stairs.
Oh.
I'm trying to think what building because that happened to mine and it was like moldy peanut butter jelly sandwich. However, it was in the opera. Was it no, not the opera. Wait, the Roosevelt building.
Roosevelt
Ugh.
Oh,
building.
that one was a stinky building.
Belly.
That was like where I was just like, oh no! Like he threw it and everyone was like screaming. I was like, what is going on? Holy shit! Okay, he threw it everywhere, and it stuck on the wall too. Oh my god. Okay, you guys, I have an update.
Yes.
I
Yearbook
can't find
update.
the kid.
They never existed.
Wait, but if we're gonna talk about our old school, we have to talk about that horrid mental health walk, that selfie walk.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Of course. And I'm going to say it out loud because I was in ASB when everything happened. So this happened on, mental health. This, like, my 10th grade year, ASB. They were talking about we should, like, prevent it and all and talk about, a walk. And so they couldn't think of ideas. And then the next day, they were like, okay, guys, I thought we have this one idea. We do a selfie walk for a mental health illness awareness.
Like, they weren't even raising money for, like, I'm pretty, like, okay, Corbin, correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be, but from what I heard anyways, they weren't even raising money to give it towards, like, a suicide prevention, like, charity or anything. Like, they were just, it was like an ASB fundraiser. I could be
It
wrong.
was.
It was.
Yeah.
It was because what's it called? I'm not calling them out, but I could. Our principals, listen here, podcast. You can even cut this out. Our old principals, they used their money and used it for their other school, and we didn't have anything to give it away any charity of mental health illness.
Basically, like, the whole point of that walk was, like, there was no point to that walk, really,
It was no
because
point. It was all fake. It was just a
and the
way of
only
like
people who were going there were people who,
Had to.
excuse my language, had to and were
quote
kiss
unquote.
asses.
Let's say
Mhm.
this: I had to because I'm in ASB, and I got myself out of there because they wanted me to spend $40
On what?
the shirt and food.
That's so
What kind of
embarrassing.
food are they serving?
Not good food, because when I was in fucking High School Musical, the play, their food was shitty as hell.
What'd they serve?
They served like chicken, rice, and like beans. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
Beans.
And then they would get Stater Brothers sandwiches.
I can get over beans. Why would they give you beans?
They gave us beans.
Mm.
It pissed me off. I'm like, why in the whole world would you give us chicken, rice, and beans?
Beans.
But it was pure BS. They could have done a fundraiser in the school saying, can you help charities around the world? Can you help us? But again, it wouldn't work out because their money was against with the principals and everything. But I think,
Yeah.
back then, if we didn't know it was about it, I think a lot of people would send so much money to help with the awareness.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just like, bottom line, like, the walk, like, the whole point of that whole shtick was to get money into ASB's pockets, which was then going to the principals, which again is the whole reason we are no longer going to a performance arts school because of that mismanagement.
Mhm.
So it's just like the fact that they dressed it up and made it seem like it was for suicide awareness and all this when they're just taking the money and putting it into their own pockets is like the most frustrating part of it all.
Yeah.
Besides the poorly done, like freaking like selfie thing that's somehow supposed to remind people and bring awareness. Because what about the people who don't have those things, who don't have people to take selfies with? And
Mhm.
maybe taking a selfie in front of a yellow background or a bunch of sunflowers just really isn't going to do anything. Like,
Yeah.
And also, don't forget, like, some families do affect the kids with their mental health illnesses. So when they're saying, oh, take a picture with, your family or friends, again, like, some people with, like, mean friends can also affect them with their, like, illnesses and stuff. It didn't help. It didn't really
Mhm.
help.
They did a lot of like fundraisers, and they weren't even fundraisers. They were fundraisers for the people who owned the school.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Yup.
pretty much every single event was for them.
Wait, but didn't they remember where a lot of the funds were lost because they sent those students out to perform on a cruise
Okay.
ship?
Yes, the cruise. They weren't even performing. They weren't even performing. They weren't even performing. They just went on a cruise with
Okay.
school money.
A Hawaii cruise. It was a cruise. And then, okay, they spent so much money on this certain group when we got it for fundraising, and it pissed me off. Like,
I'm laughing in frustration.
It's so funny. Like
It's so like, oh,
because they went to New York and saw the play Beetlejuice
Oh, that's right.
and Hamilton, and then they had a cruise, right?
Mhm.
Then they went to fucking Disneyland.
And all of that was happening while we had like roach-infested buildings and
Roach
rats.
infested buildings, gas pipe leakage, electricity going down,
Air conditioning malfunctions, poor
mold.
Flooding.
buildings were literally falling apart. Black
Hold on.
mold.
I'm sorry, Ross. But
I
there
remember
was
the mold. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I remember the mold.
There was mold in our building and they didn't remove it.
They let it grow.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, let's send this certain group of performers, which aren't even really that good, by the way, around America to do absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yes. All those funds wasted.
They have no talent. They just yell. They don't sing. They have nothing. I hate that so fucking
Oh my
much.
god.
It's all downhill for them now.
Good. Hallelujah.
They hit their peak.
Yeah. Fun times over, bitches. Go to fucking real school.
And like I don't know if any of these people will hear this, but
I hope
honestly,
they do.
I hope they do. We have every right to be haters. If you were in an underfunded department, it was crappy because okay, so it was literally from this certain group of people that the school had travel. Then it was dance, and then it was circ, and then I think it was theater, then visual arts, and then music as far as funding went. So like from who got the most funding to the least amount of funding. But theater, like just regular theater kids, visual arts and music really got the short end of the stick. And
Yeah.
art kids, music kids, I will say had it the absolute worst because they could not get new instruments, they could not get their instruments fixed. But like, for example, like me and Cassandra were in visual arts, like so much of what we had came from the fact that our teacher had connections, or that our teacher
Exactly.
had things, or that she was able to get things. Because if we did not have her, we did not have anything. And the teacher before her, like, she'd struggled to get us stuff because again, that teacher didn't have connections in the art world like she did. It was by chance that we were able to get the stuff that we had, and we could have had that funding. The other departments could have had that funding, but they decided to funnel it into really just showing off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was a theater kid, but I didn't really notice it back then. Like everything seemed comfortable, but then again at the same time, I feel like you don't really need that many supplies for just an acting class compared to visual arts classes.
Yeah.
To be honest, can I be really honest?
Mhm.
We were both acting class kids.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just pure BS of what they were spending on because it didn't help us in our classes and it didn't help anything at all. I just didn't know what they had. All they had was 3 blocks,
Yeah. What
a
did the
stage.
funding go to for their acting class? Because in our acting class, we had like fold out tables and chairs, 3 blocks, and
That's it.
that's
And a
it.
stage.
Oh, like a handmade stage,
Wasn't like a performing stage. It was just like a
yeah,
stage. Like
a slab of wood nailed to like a few boards. Like
yeah,
that was the stage.
that was the stage.
And like when you stepped on it, it like caved in under your feet and it was loud.
It was just always creaking. I just
Oh.
don't get it. Like, where did all the money go when we had it all? And I was in photography and film. Okay, let's talk about both of those things.
Photography and film got it bad.
They were supposed to have the most expensive equipment because we were supposed to have, cameras, real cameras to know how to film and take photos with. But, here comes like the people who take it away and put it in the big groups. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna start talking shit. Whoever's in that group, I really hope you enjoyed it. But for us, it was a hellhole to do it on our phones. And we had to edit on like a one computer. One.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
guys are like complaining that you didn't go to like the best Disney trip, or you complain that your nails are not done. It's like, well, we didn't, complain about, one computer. We had to share it and we were like totally fine. But still, for the photography group, we were supposed to get 5 Canon cameras and it was like, around $1,500 for each, but they were gone. We couldn't get that. And then we were supposed to get tripods. We didn't get that either. We were supposed to get green screens. We didn't get that either. And let's go to the film. We were supposed to get, 5 more cameras, and it had to be like a certain amount of 1,500. We didn't get that either. We were supposed to have more MacBooks because, in our school, they weren't working and there was only, one that would work properly. Nope, none. And it just got worse and worse. Like, it didn't help us. And so we had to do projects that were so complicated that we had to need a camera. Cause I remember I was telling Afton, I was like, this is gonna be really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And we used our phones.
I remember our first one. I wish I had it. Like, I would pay money to see it again. We made a music video to Heathens.
Yes.
The structure that school had was so weird because even the students who were in those groups that were funded with so much money, even the teachers had their hierarchy of students. Like, the favorite students
Literally.
got they got the good treatment. They got, they actually got supplies. They got in our film class, they would get the cameras, stuff like that, and it was just so weird.
I've heard you guys talk about this teacher before, but it is absolutely so true. Because I know someone who was a favorite of this teacher, and she's constantly talking about how much she loved him, and it's okay, that's awesome that you had a great experience with this teacher, and it's not to say that he was a bad teacher, but at the same time other students are getting the short end of the stick because of this favoritism problem, and it was really bad in the acting conservatory. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
do feel bad for you guys because then if you're oh, I didn't like this teacher when a bunch of
Yeah.
I want to say more popular students loved, then it's oh, well, you're the problem. When they're
Mhm.
literally in visual arts it was less of a problem, but in pretty much every other classroom setting there was a hierarchy, Afton said, of students that teachers liked from most to least.
And let's talk about the favorites. It pisses me off when a teacher does, and it makes me so upset because they'll be like, oh, we don't have any favorites, but they do. And it makes me my blood boils in film in our film class. He had a favorite, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to call her out, but and then in our acting class, they had multiple favorites and they chose to work on the certain favorites and not the
Yeah.
others and make them fail.
We would workshop our scenes in that acting class, and they would only workshop the scenes of the favorites, and then we wouldn't have we wouldn't run over our scenes enough times, and they wouldn't be as good as the other ones might have been, and then that affected our grade, and it was so weird.
It just made no sense because they had their favorites. And I'm sorry, but there were some people who were so hypocritical. Is that the word when they say, oh, I don't like this one, but 2 minutes later they start liking them? That's hypocritical, right? Okay.
Mhm.
I know 5 people who were so hypocritical about the acting teacher, and then they went against it and started acting nice with him because he liked them and put him in more plays than anyone else.
Mhm.
I'm not calling them out. I'm just saying the teacher was pure bullshit that, we tried our best, but he focused on the favorites.
He cut us out of a show.
Yeah. Anyways, if anyone's hearing this and they're like, wow, they're really being mean to, the acting teacher, and I know you guys are thinking about it. He lied to me and Afton. We told him, hey, we're ready to do a scene and we have our acting together. Can we go to the special program? Because we had these, once in a while season programs for each, school. And he says, oh, sorry, it's kind of full. You guys, it's all right. You can do it next time, but I'll give you a grade for, trying your best to participate.
And then he gave us a 0 and said we refused.
And my mom and my dad met him and he totally flip-flopped the whole story saying we were not participating because we didn't want to. We had a choice and we said no and we wanted to get the 0 of the grade.
It was so weird.
My mom and dad fumed. And I'm so glad you were there, Afton, because you were my backup. If I wasn't there, oh my God, my ass would have been kicked. Like, you have no idea. Like, when you were there, Afton, I'm so glad you were there.
Where was I?
You were you were with the winter program, remember? When he said, oh, remember how he lied to my parents?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about that. I was just like, of course you lied. And my mom and dad believed him. But then me and you told my mom and dad, like, no, he like totally flip flop. And I have a witness. Like, we're not lying.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Oh my gosh, we totally like flip flop from mental health illness to like school drama.
It always ends up on our old school. It's so funny.
It does.
But like,
It's well, I mean, technically, okay. This school has had a significant impact on our lives and also
Yeah.
on our mental health.
yes,
Like literally that's like things that happen at that school have meddled with my psyche in ways no one will ever understand.
But also I love it because that's where I met all of you.
Oh yeah. There is a lot of good that came out of that school. Like I will say, like there were good experiences and like I got to do things that we got to do things we wouldn't have gotten to do at like normal schools. So
Mhm.
and again, we've met each other. So in that sense there are positive things that came out of it. And I am grateful for like the experiences and the chaos and all of it.
Yeah.
it was fun. It's just, it really did affect us in our daily lives, and it did change our mind perspectives a lot.
Mhm. It messed me up. So I'm not good with like change. Like, but with that school, our class would be in like one building downtown in like a really weird part of the building. And they just leave you to go find it. Like it's up to you.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
So it brought up like to our anxiety of like trying to find it
Yeah.
until you have a certain time limit. Don't forget you have a time limit. You only have 15 minutes,
10 minutes. Not
10
10
minutes.
minutes to go from to walk like okay, the furthest was like a mile. To literally like walk a mile to your next class. 10 minutes.
And then don't forget about the tardy slips. Oh my God. The tardy
Demerit.
slips made me so mad.
I remember we took a demerit pad.
Oh, I
I
remember. I
gave
think I
you
still
one.
have my demerit. The one you gave me. That was
Oh.
my first demerit.
I want to know what like where they bought their like demerit pads and I want to buy them in bulk and like
We should talk about like what we developed during our old high school with it.
I developed stress. Too
I
much for a
agree.
middle schooler.
I literally developed panic disorder. Like I literally developed chronic panic attacks because of Encore.
What's the type of disorder where you're like so scared of like whatever happens, so you're like your movement goes faster?
Sonic?
No, not Sonic. It's like I don't know. Is it anxiety because like you start like thinking like something bad's gonna happen to you, and then like you turn around when you hear a certain noise that like will scare you all
I
the
mean,
time.
that's more of a symptom and less of a disorder. Cause like
Okay.
you could be like paranoid about things, and that
Okay.
could be a symptom of a lot of things, including anxiety. And
Okay.
like my panic attacks, for example, like they were a symptom of my anxiety, and that became their whole own problem within themselves. So it depends. It's a love hate relationship,
We
just
had
as
good
many
memories.
relationships are.
We had good memories, but then again, there comes some bad ones that I fucking hate.
Do you have any positive memories? I feel like it's been so negative.
Yeah, let's share some good ones.
When we saw the dead rat.
Why is that positive?
Because it was funny.
I have a positive one.
Oh.
Okay, literally any time we've gone to the like okay, literally a few years ago today cuz I saw on my Instagram memories, we were at a show for this certain group of people that got funding.
Oh,
Literally today.
Was
And
it
in
that
8th grade. Also, I think one of my favorite memories like is the art kids going to Laguna Beach and on
Yes.
our last day of school with Miss James, which was like so sad,
I was
but
crying.
I was so sad, but we like stayed in her class pretty much all day and made this like giant table with the art tables in the back by the bathroom, and like that was so fun because I could just like stay there and like enjoy the time I had left with my like amazing art teacher. So that was a really fun day.
Wasn't that the show you were talking about, the one where we were sitting next to each other and we saw that one kid holding up recording with their Chromebook?
Yeah.
And then they yelled something. What did they yell? But then they got the whole like deans looking after them.
They yelled bullshit.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I sat next to him in my environmental science class.
Well deserved.
What was the girl was saying? Like,
It was the bullying thing, which was so
Yeah.
corny.
yeah, they were like saying, "I was bullied by being ugly, but now I'm beautiful as a beautiful butterfly." And then we just hear,
It was
"Bullshit!"
the freckle thing with the cookies, and like she was like, "Oh, blah blah blah," like, and I was bullied and blah blah blah. But I think the whole reason that the guy yelled that was because they were in fact bullied by the person who was saying that they were bullied. So,
Mhm.
It's just so interesting how like our old schools kind of just, you know, gave us these like upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
And and we're changing a lot now with our mental stability. Like I know I got a little better. Like I know like back then in my 8th grade year, I think like I got way worse. And then that's why I was like so subconscious about everything and so like worried about my weight and then like worried about like what other people are thinking. And I still have it like right now,
Mhm.
but it's not very like hard as it is back then because this is a new school. But I think now I feel a little better, like a new
Mhm.
change. And we're okay, listen, and we're 12th grades right now.
yeah.
We're basically graduating and we don't need to see these bitches ever again.
I'm so excited.
I know, but we got college. That's our next chapter. And there's more to the future, and I think that's what it is. So is this the end of our No, wait, hold on. Like this is the end of like the episode right now. Hold on.
Forever.
Goodbye, Rat Chat forever.
Oh my god. Watch, one of us is gonna leave and it's probably gonna be me.
Why would you say that?
Like those sad, like, okay, byes. Okay, bye. Like
You
those
get voted out.
It says eviction notice. Like shit, I got voted out in Big Brother.
There's only room for 3.
Oh. All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed our little podcast about mental health awareness week. We did I did like how we shared stories, and I like how we described a lot what we go through kind of and how we feel, but at the same time, again, this is our future and we're creating it right now, and it's every single year that we grow up, it's a new chapter in our life. So there it is, like, we're starting brand new each year.
I know. I don't like that I'm an adult.
Literally.
And then my parents still tell me to go to bed. I'm like, come on, give me something.
I'm 18 now. I can do what I want, Mom.
Literally at 9 o'clock, there's they make their rounds. So like, time for bed. 9
It's
o'clock.
like jail. Lights out.
I had a dream where my phone got crushed by a car and I started crying.
Really? I keep having dreams where my teeth fall out, and it's so scary.
Ooh.
Oh
Corbin,
no.
Yes.
I dreamt about Coco last night for some reason. Your dog.
Oh.
I had a whole dream about her last night. It was so random, but it was literally just like us hanging out at your house, and like Coco was there for some reason. It was really random. I meant to tell you.
Wait, I'm starting to cry right now.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to upset you,
No, it's good.
but I didn't want to tell you I had a dream about her.
Because I was thinking about her yesterday. So,
Yeah.
oof, wait, that got me crying. Holy shit.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's just, oh, what's it called? Like, I heard like a little sneeze, and I literally thought it was Coco for a minute. And,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm going to cry right now. But it was like a faint little video I have of her sneezing, and I just thought of it. So I just thought she's there and watching over me, and I missed her.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry, I'm
hard.
crying right now.
No, it's
I'm
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's hard. It's hard. I get it.
Yeah, she just she was there and I loved her. She just, every time I was sick and every time when I was going through stuff, she was just always there. And that dog was just everything to me. She was like my helper and everything, Yeah, it was really hard for me when I had to say goodbye. All right, no more crying. I'm crying right now. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, I hope y'all I hope y'all like this episode of our emotional wreck, Green Ribbon Week, Mental Health Awareness Week, and we would just like to say that we're always here for support and we always will be there for anyone who has it as well. And this is the Rat Chat signing out.
Bye.
Bye.